This is Baruch, and I'm over here waiting for my chavrusa to come, and I'm starting a new intro here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and this is the first page of our website. So we're able to see a little bit of the website here. I'm just trying to see how it works here, the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and here's the elevator. So that's that. And so I will sit here, and I'm going to wait and bring this back around now. Get me back over here. Okay, let's see how this is going in terms of the light. Okay, that's the sound of my chavrusa. Good morning, Rabbi. Okay, now, let me see. I just keep losing the place. Okay, so actually we got to the top of page Reish Ches Tzadi. And let's go to Reish Tzadi Vav and just pick up some of the top. It says, Itba Reisha B'mayin the Yama Rabba. So the head of the snake is broken into this great sea. Now, I don't really remember whether previously, it's not so hard to find, whether he had said Yama Rabba before, or he just said Yam. When he was talking about the top of the head and the snake was going around the top of the head and surrounding it, here he says the Reisha breaks, and then it falls into this great sea. He said, Dichsiv Shibarti Rosha Tanidin, that you broke the heads of the snakes, Alamayim. So he says here, we see that there's two of them, Trenhava. Chad is Chazaru. One of them goes backwards. Let's pick up there at that place right there. So he says, Chad is Chazaru on page Reish Tzadi Zayim. He says, Chad is Chazaru Amdam Ata Chazur Lehios Rak Tani Nechad. But now, originally there were two. They were broken and crushed and broken. Now there are only one. Moshe Ambar B'Zohar, the Zohar says over here, he says in Parshas Bosha, Kodesh Baruch Hu, Machet, so I guess he breaks or pierces, V'shabachas Rosh Hatanim, and breaks the head of the snake. So this is Zachar. This is a singular 1-1. V'harag as Hatanim Nekeva, and he kills the female one. Let me just, my nose is running here a little bit. Then he says, V'kevin shaharag as in the cave, it says, once he killed the female, hare yesh rak tani nechad. So, okay, naturally, if there were two, you kill one, there's only one. Now, what is this talking about? Why are we using the words? My question would be, why the word killing it? V'inyan necharigahu was the killing name, shahaor shel achivarto, the tanin nekeva. So this is the surrounding light. Ha'elyon enem ispashet the mata klal. It never goes downwards. It stays as a ring, my words, around the top of the head. This aspect of that light, of that 13th pathway, is never revealed. Only will it be revealed in the 7th millennium. So, v'nimsa ki inyan shviris hatanin, Sha'amarnu hu rak betanin hazachar shelo nehereg. So that when we talk about, once again, this concept of the tanin, we're only talking about the male one, hazachar shelo nehereg, which was not killed. Or no, I don't know what the right. He used the word killed. Okay, this is what it says up above. The head, that is the Rosh Hatanim Nishba, the head is broken. Beloshin Yachid. It's only one of them that gets a broken head. So he said, Taninin Kasiv. Taninun Kasiv Choser. So there's missing a yud over here. V'lechein Choser B'Pasa Taninun. Choser Os Yud is missing the yud Lahora Shehoyu Shnecha Taninim Zachav V'Nekeva V'Nisha Rak Echad, to let you know that the other yud, I guess for representing the female, is not there anymore. Rak echad shehu tanin zachar. So that's the one, the tanin zachar is the one that goes from the nape of the neck up to the top up to the top of I guess at the forehead, or where this forehead starts, and then starts circling around. So the circle part of it is not in function anymore, or not going downwards, but this one is. But then its head breaks. Besides aras muchas timah, which is the concept that the muchas timah forces up hairs shenokvim v'shoivrim hachivartik amor, which causes holes, the pores of the fire of the hair follicles. The shoivrim achivarti, so they interrupts and makes different paths, I guess, in this whiteness. V'shol, so there's this question: Ki kasha she'im hapasuk iri rak b'tanei nechad. If it's only talking about one snake, shehutan in the zachar, im came lama kasav roshe. So why do we have roshe over there in the plural? Roshe taninim b'loshen rabin. It says roshe taninim, which is plural. Ki hoyitzarach lichtov rosh. It's just said the head, only one of them. So what do you say about that? It says v'meishiv ki achivarti shaltani nazachim ischalak la'arba roshim. So he said, I can explain it. The head of this one head of the male splits into four heads. He named his boil because we explained up above ki achivarti ischalak la'arba cholokim shehein achor yamin is small, and then also the emsa. This I guess is the one in the middle. Ki heim yud gimel orchim umischalkim kach, and this is how they get divided up. Arba orchim letzad achrecha gugolas. This is the one I think we're talking about. V'arba orchim letzad yamin, v'arba orchim letzad small. V'orach hashlishi ashlisha asa. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about another one that's an incorporator. Esach shakolu kol haorchim holech laorech emsa harosh. So it actually does. It paddles. What's the right? I can't get the word out. It follows the path, or the middle line of the head. Emsa rosh. And so therefore we see all the fourth heads, cholokim, which are actually portions of that line that's moving down the center. He says, "Elo nikvu v'nishbro ayedechas aras v'nemen the muchas timah." So what happens is that those four, let's say they're rivers of whiteness. So as a result of that, poking up through them is now going to become the nimim that come from the inside outward on top of the head, called from the muchas timah. V'zechasha amakan. So this is what we're talking about over here. So he says, Shaviras Roshe Taninim Baloshan Rabim. This is the heads of the Taninim, is actually, it has four heads. Kamatat Amar, like you say like this, Ge'inish in the Emar and Yecheskel. Etzel Arba Rabachayos Merkava Shechel Yecheskel, when we're talking over there about the Chayos of the Merkava of Yecheskel. Udemus al Roshe HaChaya Rekia. So there's an image on top of this, of the Roshe of the Chaya firmament, so heaven. The Musa Roshe HaChaya, it's only one Chaya, but they're apparently, so the Im calls it, even so, I'm a Roshe B'Loshen Rabin, but the Roshe is plural. Why? The Shehi Chaya Achaz Kololos Arba Roshin, because it's only one Chaya, and that Chaya has four different heads. That is the beginnings of the paths of how they weave down. So the David in Yanena, now you want to know what the secret is here, Ki Chaya Romez Lomochas Timos, because the concept of Chaya, let's say is also a reference to the Mochas Timos Hanikba Baklalos Chaya by itself. It's called Chaya. The word Chaya to me means like a wild animal or some kind of a creature, where normally we have the Chayas of the Merkava, say for example, those four, which maybe works out here, because that's a four too. The fi shalamochim heim sod hachius shalaparts episode Chai Hamelech. So this actually, because that's the way the word Chai, it's not talking about necessarily the four animals of the Merkava. Here he says it's called a cheshel parts of episode Chai Hamelech because it's what gives life force. For hachaya chazos, this chaya, the mochas tibuch, which is the life force that comes out of the mochas timah verakampen mischalik la'arba chabaroshim, it gets split into four heads. Besod shlosh mochim shal shlosh vayus beseder blazer ach Yamin is small. So that's one of them. I just got stuck here a little bit. Let me go back to where the word on the last word on the line is v'chachaya chazos the mochas dimah. He says the chaya is the mochas dimah. Now previously he said that the mochas dimah, the hair forcing going upwards, forces through the whiteness. Now he says this chaya, which is the mochas dimah, hazos the mochas dimah, or this life force in it, mischalak la'arba roshim. It gets divided into 4 heads. Now, previously, I thought we were talking about the tanin, the male tanin. So he says now we're talking about this chaya, which is the mochas dimah. B'sod shlosh mochim shal shlosh chavayos b'seder ach yamin is small, ba'od chavayach achas, and then there's another melkololos lamala, which has them all. V'rakia hu hagugolos lamala. So the rakia is actually up above all of it. Up above, which is up above the heads of these mochin. What's mochin? The mochin that came out of the mochas dimah, hanikraim chayim, that are called chayim. So that's what it means when he says on the top of the head of the chaya, which is the life force, is the rokia, which he says is the gilgolos. So then these 4 different portions of mochim, they go out after that, from the mochas dimah, but somchin, and then they start growing. Lamala al gabe hagogolas bebechinas nimin v'sa'aras, and they broke through the whiteness, as we said, and they're now growing on top of the head. Now I need to read it again, where it said "V'hine arba chelki mochim elu." So now he's saying that there's 4 chalokim of 4 different portions or sections, let's say, of the mochim that come out from the mochas dimah. Yotzim acher kach min hamochas dimah. They come out after that. They're now out of the mochas dimah, and they start growing on top of the head. Al gabe hagugolas bebechinas nimin v'sa'aros. Okay, so that's where they come from. Now, to me, I'm thinking that I'm not sure. I've never been sure about the sequencing of Rebbe Shimon, because he brings things in and then stops talking about them, and then he comes back to it maybe later. Va'om came acher yamin is small. So these also, he says, these hairs also go to the sides, like we said, and to the front, and to the back, right, left, and back. So then there's another one that incorporates like in the order of the 4 portions of the mochin. I'm not sure it surrounds it or incorporates them. Kaseder arba chelki amochim. So he said that kaseder kain ach yamin is small. Ve'echad hakolel kaseder arba chelki amochim. Okay, I'll go on. Val yadam is chalkim hachivarte, and through them the chivarta, because now you have these different. I guess he means to say that you have a right section of hairs and a left section of hairs and a back section of hairs. And he said, and then a kolel section of hairs, or a kolel in some way, v'nishbarim gam kol arba haroshim, and what happens is all of them break, l'shlosha tzadadim, to the 3 different sides. That's what he means by break. I guess he means that they're a portion. Achor yamin is small. Ve'echa the kola, and then there's that other one like that. The hairs get apportioned like that. Now, to me, I don't really see the transition 100% of how you got to this, but he says, I guess in my mind, is that you had this white head, the pores break through, which are actually coming from the mochas dimah. Somehow that whiteness, I believe the original whiteness went down the side of the face and in the back as well, and with the kolel, and it hooks up with these that partition them. Or maybe this is the actual act that causes them to be right, left, and back, because of the mochas dimah, what's coming out of the hair. Ki amochin the mochas dimah hem hamayim shal yamagodol. So because he says the yamagodol refers to the mochas dimah, he said because they are actually the water that comes out of the sea, hashoifrim es rosh hachivarti, which breaks the head of the chivarti. So once again, he said the idea of breaking them is that they're split as a result of the hair follicles coming through from the mochas dimah, something like that. And that fact that there are 4 represents also some kind of combinations of fours which could be developed otherwise. All right, now we're going for Abba V'Ima V'Das, right? I think a das is a big theme by the Groa. V'yomer Elokim Yehi Or V'Yehi Or. So we see this twice. Pirush. So let's understand what we're talking about. It says V'yomer Elokim, who is Elokim? This is referring to Eric Anpin. What about Eric Anpin? Shabara as Partsufi Abba V'Ima, that Eric Anpin created the Partsufim of Abba V'Ima, the V'Hainu. When it says Yehi Or Shuhu Abba, Yehi Or Shuhu Ima. So we saw the concept of Yehi Or refers to Abba V'Ima. Hainu Dechser V'Zecha Shekasu, Ki Hinei Omer V'Yehi, because he said, and let it be. So let it be, yeah. The Pirush, who's who? Who is always Eric Anpin. I know Eric Anpin, Shenikro Hu, Beloshan Nister, that we don't really know who he is. Lefi Shuhu Salsa Elam, because he's closed up, hidden away. So then it says, and they were created. Who is that? That's Abba Ve'ima. Because in that word Vayehi, you have the klal of both of them. Now, question, how is that? Ki osi is yak. Let's just take two of the letters, the middle two letters of that. Those two letters, shall Vayehi, Heim Sod Abba Ve'ima. That refers, okay, so we have no problem with that. That's Yud and K is Abba Ve'ima. He says, V'amnam b'tachidas brias Abba Ve'ima, at the beginning, when Abba Ve'ima were created, who, that is Eric Anpin, b'luchudoi. Hoya Eric Anpin, a nikro hu, levado, there were no other partsufim, only Eric Anpin. Vayehi b'yeluchudoi. V'chein Abba Ve'ima hanechlalim yachad b'milu v'yaki, so b'milas v'yaki, so we see that the two of them are incorporated together in this word. He said, and they were also by themselves. Now, at this point, I'm not sure he's going to... Okay, let's go. Because this is what he says. Apparently, there are partsufim of Abba Ve'ima, but they're still not together, and they're still not together are becoming like a one with Eric Anpin. Labasa, but then after that time, so this is like a big chiddush over here. He wants, or maybe not a chiddush, I don't know, but it's big. At any rate, he said, what is das? Das is the koach of yichud. Is chazar achad. They go back and they go into oneness again. Now, yischazru, to me, implies that they were together to begin with. But he says, azad, then, Chazru Abba Ve'ima B'Na'asa Echad, they go back and they become only one, Im Eric Anpin. Ki Oz Nechlalo Abba Ve'ima B'Mazal the Digna de Eric Anpin. Now we saw this in the Idra. He says that they come back and they attach themselves to the Digna, the beard of Eric Anpin, at the Mazel. Shuhu Shor Shadas, which he says that is the root of Das, is the Mazlos of Eric Anpin, are the root of the das, or the mazel is the root of the das, of the nisyachto abba ve'ima, and it causes them, because of this attachment through this beard, there is a result of that, they're able to come together, im Eric Anpin. And I guess they cling to, they attach themselves to Eric Anpin. Different than the siruf of these letters. When this yichud takes place, becomes, instead of vayehi, it comes to a Yaakov V. So like that. So he says the Yud K Vav Yud, which to me is missing something, but okay. So because he has to explain that Yud at the end. This sirah, which we'll call Yud K Vav Yud, so the das, this actually tells you about the das. Vayehi, the way he wants to say the Vayehi, if you move the letters around, you find the secret of the concept of das, Hamayached called Partsufi Atzilus, which has the power to bring unity in all of the Partsufim of the Tzilus of the Chem, Arba Osias, Yud K Vav Yud, Romazan, the Yichud, Arba Partsufi Atzilus, Abba Ve'ima V'Zar V'Nuk. But this combination, which starts with Yak and then it has Vav Yud, Mischala the Shnayim, the Hainu Yako, It gets divided into two parts. The first part is Yaakov. Now we recognize Yaakov. Yaakov is Abba Ve'ima, and this Vav represents the middle line, which he's saying. I don't know. Before he said it was related to the beard of Eric Anpin in some way. He says that this Vav though is always middle line stuff, and then it comes to a Yud. V'shlosh osias rishonas Yaakov shehem chochma bin das romazin the shlosha partzufim abba ve'ima v'zer anpin. It's really a reference to those three. So we have no problem with that, and we could even say the panemius of zer anpin is das. So let's go on. But how about this Yud? Yud basra shechinta v'siton. Instead of a K, which is what we might have expected, if we're using this drush, we have the Yud. So he said, "Os Yud Achrona shall sirav Yakvi." Let's say Romas, the parts of Nukva Shehi Hashchina really refers to the Shchina. Ho'menes Lamata b'Makomo, who is down below all of the flow, in her place. For Indian, who the Indian is like this. How does Das become a Yud? So he says, "Ki hadas miyached kal partzufi ratzilus lamala v'lamata." It from the top of it silus to the bottom. It makes everything into oneness. The hind of lamala nechlala abba ve'iba rabim erik anpin. So that's what happens up above. Ayidechem b'mazel shuhu shor shadas, and from the mazel. What mazel? The mazel that is the root of das. The lamad, so we understand the mazel, it's not the beard, it's the mazel in the beard, which is the root of das, because it combines, that's what pulls in Abba Ve'ima into oneness. The lamad and the chlalim yachad partzu ve'ima v'zer v'nuk. So then you have below, now that Ima is nechlal Abba, so he says now they're also becoming in klal with Zochav v'nuk, das, and then it's the das that does this. Hanechaz be'imach milamala b'nuk b'lamata, that holds the im up above and the nuk down below. B'vayir od kama the hey shkinta ishtakach. So we understand the letter hey. Ki kamoshim b'tzida b'kol makom shashchina, that is the nukva. Near mezes besod os hey. So it's really referenced by the letter hey. Hey achrona shal shem kavaya kanoida, against the final hey of the chavaya. So we're comparing a hey to a yud here. Kachagam kan near mezes hashchina besod the letter yud, os yud. Achrona shal sirif Yaakvi. Let's say b'chad maskala iskalo. So actually, the yud and the hey balance each other. How's that work? Ki os hey v'os yud neishkala b'mishkal echad. They're all balanced out. He said v'chakol cholak b'derek echad, and the whole thing is going in one direction. Ki os hey achrona he hashchina b'klalos, because the final hey is the shchina in general. V'os yud achrona he yisod. It represents the tip of the, let's say, of the yisod shal hashchina, of the yisod of the shchina, that makes it. I'll read it. The Inyan, who the Inyan is like this. Ki sirif, that one Yakvi. He says, "Who besod hadas hameyachid kal partzufi ratzilu ka'amor." It's the secretive das that brings all of the partzufim together. So, but the question is what are you doing with this yud? So he said it refers to the yisod of the nook. Those yud achrona he bebechinas yisod shal shchina. It's the yisod of the shchina. Hamisyached im sheish kitzvos dezer anpin. In other words, the yud is really focusing an element of the of one of the spheros of the nukva, which is her yisod, which is opening itself up to make a yichud with zer anpin. I guess we'll stop here. Thank you very much for learning with me today. All the best. And back to the elevator. Where are you, elevator? I know you're here. Learn. I don't know. Okay, this is Baruch Fleischman.